Welcome back to our channel, and we're here with a new topic that you'll love to see. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel as fast as you can, because otherwise this snake will crawl in your bed tonight. The human mind is afraid of many things, and we refer to that fear as a phobia. Sometimes it's related to something that really is a danger to the human life, while at other times it's something completely random that might even get laughed at. That's our topic for today, as we'll take a look at the 10 most common animal phobias that humans have. 10. Ailurophobia, fear of cats. The fear of animals is called zoophobia, and ailurophobia is the most common of them all. The effects range from simply being reluctant to touching cats, which is something that we see very often, while some people experience far more intense effects of this phobia. It can exist for no reason, or due to a negative experience with them, such as being bitten or scratched at some point. It can cause anxiety and panic in the most extreme cases, which leads to things like dizziness, an upset stomach, pain, and even faster heartbeats. It's surely a surprise that the adorable little felines can cause such a strong reaction in some, but it can be controlled by simply avoiding cats, exposure and behavioral therapy, and medication. 9. Ophidiophobia, fear of snakes. Ophidiophobia is a very common fear because it's not something random or irrational. Snakes are one of the most dangerous animals on our planet, and a single bite can often lead to immediate death if the snake is venomous enough. So the human brain is evolutionarily conditioned to be afraid of snakes, and sometimes it becomes heightened to the point a mere mention or visual of a snake can cause extreme symptoms such as dizziness, nausea, an increased heartbeat, and so on. This is when it's classified as a phobia and needs to be treated. And much like any other phobia, it's treated through different types of therapy and medication. Otherwise, the person can simply avoid snakes in general. 8. Helminthophobia, fear of worms. Fear of worms has always been a controversial topic, as some people are not bothered by them at all, while others might have a strong panic attack at simply touching one of them. The reason behind this fear is often the fact that many worms are parasitic, so people do not want them to crawl up into their bodies and use them as a host. However, at the end of the day, they are very tiny and avoidable, so the phobia affects lives far more than it should. The treatment is through therapy and medication in some intense cases, while others just avoid them as they're not particularly popular animals in the sense that you'd often see images of them. 7. Ornithophobia, fear of birds. Alfred Hitchcock may or may not have something to do with this one. There are so many different types of birds that come in all types of shapes and sizes, and their behaviors greatly vary from each other too. So, naturally, it's common for people to develop a phobia for some birds, since some of them are even directly dangerous to encounter. This can cause anxiety attacks, panic attacks, increased heartbeat, shortness of breath, chest pain, dizziness, and more. And since birds are so common, it's difficult to just avoid them. So treatments such as psychotherapy and medication come into the mix. We'll be moving on to the 6th most common animal phobia right away. But let's take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button on the video first. It will immensely help us out with the growth of the channel, and it allows us to make more videos for your entertainment. Let's move on to the next number. 6. Entomophobia, fear of insects. The fear of insects is no surprise, since it's so common to be attacked by them when you least expect them to appear. Of course, the fear is not limited to poisonous insects or those who inflict a lot of pain with their bite, as some of the harmless insects can cause the phobia to trigger too. But for the most part, the fear is certainly justified, as some insects can pose quite a threat or inconvenience. The effects of this phobia can cause panic attacks, tightness of chest, a faster heart rate, hyperventilation, shaking, and even crying in children and sensitive adults. And it can also irrationally feel like they can crawl up your skin or swarm on your body out of nowhere. The treatments include behavioral therapy, exposure therapy, and some medication. 5. Musophobia, fear of mice and rats. You might not have heard of musophobia as a term, but a fear of mice is something that we encounter every day. Whether it's in ourselves or someone we closely know, seeing rats immediately disgusts people and even makes them outright jumpy. It can be caused by a traumatic experience with rats, such as being scared by one as a child or even bitten. but mostly it exists naturally since they are one of the fastest causes of spreading diseases. The effects are similar to other animal phobias, as they can cause panic, anxiety, shortness of breath, faster heartbeats, and more. While therapy and medication can help, exterminators are usually the best option, since you don't run into them often otherwise. 4. Ichthyophobia, fear of fish. Here's one you probably didn't expect to see: the fear of fish. This can range from the fear of eating their meat, touching a raw fish, being afraid of seeing a dead fish, or being close to them in general. Interestingly enough, while a fear of sharks makes sense since they are dangerous creatures who can kill you, that is a separate thing called Galeophobia. The Ichthyophobia is specific to being afraid of fish in general. And considering that most fish are harmless, it can be seen as irrational or overly specific. The treatment includes graduated exposure therapy, which slowly shows people the object can't harm them, while another method is the radical exposure therapy, which is a bit more extreme but has the same effects. 3. Arachnophobia, fear of spiders. Fear of spiders is undoubtedly one of the most common ones that you'll see in everyday life. Even those who are unbothered by some of the smaller spiders, they will still be terrified by anything that seems to be large, thicker, or poisonous. The reason behind it is similar to snakes, as the human mind is automatically meant to see them as a threat due to how poisonous they can be. And experiences such as a bite or a swarm of them crawling up your body can be a factor in developing the phobia too. Dizziness, nausea, shaking, crying, an upset stomach, and other intense effects are very common for those who have an intense phobia of spiders. And events such as Halloween, for example, are ruined too. Counseling and hard medicine is the only way to deal with the situation, although the latter is only meant to snap the person out of an attack. 2. Cynophobia, fear of dogs. Dogs are some of the most magnificent creatures that exist on this planet. They are the most beloved pet and are known for their affectionate and protective natures for their owners, which is often the reason why millions prefer them over cats. However, fear of dogs is more common than you'd realize. The reason behind it is the fact that people often assume that dogs will attack them due to their aggressive nature when they feel threatened, and this causes them to feel uneasy when close to one. And like other phobias, this can reach an unhealthy amount of side effects such as trouble in breathing, increased heartbeat, dizziness, shaking, and even random pains in your chest. Avoiding dogs is almost not an option because they are everywhere, so therapy is the next best option alongside possible medication as treatment. 1. Ranidaphobia, fear of frogs and toads. Out of everything you'd expect human beings to have a phobia of, frogs and toads is perhaps the strangest case. They are harmless creatures that just roam around doing their own thing. And while disgust can be understood due to the fact that they are slimy, a fear is a different case. However, it makes more sense when you understand the fact that a part of this phobia is related to harming them instead. For example, a woman in 1983 developed a terrible fear of frogs because she accidentally killed them with a lawnmower when simply mowing her lawn. So, the phobia can be triggered by thinking, hearing, or seeing a frog, and the results are intense as it can cause lightheadedness, shortness of breath, shaking, and even chest pain. Some of these fears make sense as they're instinctive for our survival, but we have to admit the others are very random. But the human mind does not listen to anyone, so it's no one's fault for having these phobias. One way or another, it's truly fascinating to see how much our brain can do in things that make little sense. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and press the bell icon for instant updates for all of our future content. And let us know your thoughts about the video and what you'd like to see next too. We'll see you next time.